How are you ever going to earn your spouse's trust back after you were caught cheating? The best way to rebuild the trust is to best ensure that what broke it the first time does not break it again. And that means to best ensure that cheating won't happen again. Now, if you are the unfaithful, I'm not mad at you. I was a serial cheater for over 15 years. And it's not about, I'm just never going to cheat again because I know I'm not. That doesn't work so well for your betrayed spouse if and or there was cheating multiple times, because then it becomes a habit. It's a coping mechanism. It's a go-to. When things aren't going your way, you go to it, right? And so we want to it's best to focus on discovering those issues that led you to make those choices to cheat, and again, becoming hyper aware of them and fixing them, okay? Because I've worked with hundreds of couples all over the world, but not just that, talked to, had conversations with more couples, more people, thousands of people on consultations about their situations, right? And so it's the same all around. I keep hearing the same things. It's the same in my experience. I was the betrayed first, and then I was the unfaithful. Then when I wasn't cheating, I was getting cheated on, right? And it kept going back and forth. But nonetheless, it's the same. Focusing on why, because that's the number one question. Why? Why did you cheat? It doesn't make sense. Why could you do that? Or why did you do that? And how could you have done that? All of those issues don't make sense to the betrayed. That's why they continue to ask so many questions. They ask for so many details because it doesn't make sense still. And you, or the unfaithful, cannot explain in detail. They just say, I don't know, I was dumb, I meant nothing, I just made a mistake, I was stupid, it'll never happen again. But that, you see, it's not enough, okay? And so one of the biggest mistakes that you may be making when it comes to trying to rebuild trust is that you're only focusing on changing the way that you treat your partner, changing the way that you treat them. Maybe you're more affectionate, maybe you're more open, maybe you communicate more, maybe you let them know where you're going now. Maybe you show them your location, and that's good. But what that does to your spouse is they go, well, I like all of this, but this is all just a little front. This isn't real. It's nice that you're doing this now, but it's all going to stop. And then what? What's going to happen when we have problems in the future? Then what? Right? And so focusing also, or even more, on changing within, becoming that person, making those changes in the ways that we need to make, the changes that are going to be worth it, that are actually going to make a difference. Because those other small changes, they just keep your partner from knowing that you're not cheating right then and there. When they check your phone, they check your location, that doesn't actually help them trust you again. That actually keeps them from trusting you because they're relying on other sources to trust you. They're relying on knowing that you're not cheating to trust you, and that's not going to ever rebuild trust. And so I have some video or some topics here, some tips here for you on how to make those changes, how to make those important changes to actually earn your spouse's trust back the right way. Okay, and remember, you're talking to somebody who's been there before and has tried many things over the years to try to change, right? But it is when you become hyper aware of yourself and you understand yourself, then you begin to understand why you do what you do, and you begin to understand there are other ways of going about it. There are other choices you can make rather than lying and cheating and betraying and doing all of these other things, right? Okay, so commit not just to your partner, commit to yourself, commit to your change, and let your partner see that. Let them know that. Not play a trick on them and trick them and go, hey, well, this is more important to me. Changing's more important. No, if you want to say that, say it, but be about it. That's it, right? And so that means you're all about your recovery. You're about your partners as well, but you're about your change. You're all about your change. You're all about your self-discovery and improvement, despite whether you both get back together or not. That's not so easy, but coming with that energy, that lets them actually know you really actually do love them. because not because you're just doing it for them. You're doing it because it's what's right. And you continue to commit yourself to those changes. And they see that day in and day out, even if you get discouraged, even if they try to discourage you because they become angry because of the resentment. I'm not saying that they're wrong for doing that or anything, but in those moments, you must be resilient, withstand their storm, and continue to proceed in your course of action to make those changes. Okay, so one big change. Here's another. We're already talking about a lot here, but here's one of the biggest ones: is no longer being resentful. Okay, and blaming them for anything. And I'm not saying that you are, right? And these are all just things that I want you to be aware of. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Maybe the next one will. Right? But these are all to keep in mind, and maybe this will translate in another way for you. But when your partner sees you become angry at them for other things and you blame them for whatever it is that you're upset about, that leads them to believe you're not changing in the ways that possibly led you to cheat, because you possibly began blaming them for what was going on in your life or your marriage or relationship at that time. And so you justified your own actions by cheating, and that resentment fuels that. And so by you becoming a very forgiving and understanding and compassionate person, they begin to go, whoa, okay, this is new. Especially if you allow your anger, you've allowed your anger a lot of the times to get the best of you and say things out of anger and resentment and blame, right? Well, that right there, changing that about you, is very important too. It's not just about showing them that you're not cheating and talking to them more and being more affectionate. No, they notice these details. They notice these things and put it all together in their mind. They may not tell you these things all of the time. They're thinking them. They're putting it together. Okay, and then they see that in other ways as you not being accountable for your actions still. Even though it's not about maybe it's about some other incident that happened earlier that day between the both of you, but they still relate it to you're not still learning to take full accountability for your actions. And if you can't learn to take accountability for your actions because you're too busy blaming me or someone else, then what is going to lead me to believe that you're ready to hold yourself accountable and make the changes that you need to on your own? And we're going to touch on that a little later, because that actually is the next thing that we're going to talk about. But choosing that path to forgiveness via your communication is going to be very vital in this situation, in this recovery, whether or not how the trust is going to be rebuilt. Okay, learning to communicate with them, to understand them, is very important, to validate them, and to resolve conversations. This is another thing that I teach to my clients. Personally, when I work with them one-on-one, I work with clients one-on-one and couples as well. And what we teach is learning how to properly communicate, because you could actually be communicating genuinely. You really say you're sorry and you're explaining yourself and you're coming with love, but the way you say it, the way it sounds, and the way your partner hears it are two completely different things. So learning how to communicate to your partner so they feel understood, validated, that's going to open them up to resolve conversations, because they're going to continue to make you understand the more they feel like you don't understand. And so communicating with them in such a way as to where they feel not just understood, but also validated is very important, okay? And so this is complex, but let's just start there with learning to not blame them for when you become mad about anything, or here's a bonus one here for you. Becoming mad at others and blaming others. Maybe let's say you're mad at your brother, your sister, your coworker, whoever it is, your neighbor, and you're over there blaming them and resenting them. Right? That's not going to be good as well. Okay, and it's not just about not doing things in front of your partner. You realize that? Okay, yeah, you do. And so it's about really actually truly making those changes within. And it's natural, and they see it. And so this is the next one right here, is very important. And then we're kind of going into it a little bit before, but it's making changes on your own, doing the work on your own, and not depending on them to find it for you, do it for you, tell you what to do, how to do it, discover it, learn it. No, they want to see you taking the initiative to discover, to find, to be resourceful, okay? And why that's important is because they want to know that you're learning how to be a better decision maker. You're learning more, you're beginning to really get it. You're beginning to really understand what it really takes, what your partner requires, what changes need to be made, how they need to be made, and you're doing it on your own. Because your partner, that's the last thing they want to feel like. You created this mess and I'm the one cleaning it up, right? And so you made the mess, you clean it up, you pick up the broom, you get the dustpan and right, and you start cleaning up. And your new habits, your new routines, your new behaviors, take an inventory of yourself, evaluate yourself and all things that you do, how you live your life in other areas, the things that are not healthy for you, the things that may lead to indirectly you not changing, right? And changing those things, people you hang out with, the things you do, the things you don't do, you learning that about yourself and understanding that about yourself and doing what's necessary to make those changes. And that's it. Your spouse doesn't want to hear any more excuses. No more excuses at all. Even with yourself. Don't even make any excuses with yourself, right? The change starts within, right? And so this is definitely going to help, because your partner, again, when you change so much to the point where you need to prove nothing, that's how you know it's working. Because what a lot of us make is that when we're unfaithful, when we're trying to earn our spouse's trust back, we're only doing it for us. We're doing it to rebuild that trust, to save our relationship. Now we're not doing it because we truly desire that change, right? And so when they see that we are putting that much focused attention and energy into change, we're going to change. And our partner's going to notice, and we need to do nothing to prove that. It's proven. Your partner knows you. They know of all your little, things you do. Can tell when you're actually changing, and they can tell when you're actually not, okay? So here's the next one, raising your level of awareness. This is so very important. Raise your level of awareness, okay? Become aware of each situation that you are in and learn to be a better decision maker, right? And how you do that is being able to stay present, which may be something they want you to do as well, but being able to stay present to the moment and stop and hold back. We become more disciplined and we are aware of what's going on, when it's going on. And if I do this, it's going to lead to that. If I do that, it's going to lead to this. And it's going to make my partner feel that way. And it's going to cause that conversation. And then it's going to create this, and then it's not going to be good. So what should I do in this situation then? This is what I should do in the situation. And this is what's going to cause, and this is the right choice. So here we go. Bam. And then later on, you tell your spouse about, hey, this is what happened earlier, and this is what happened, and this is how I did, this is what I did. And they're going to go, what did you do? What did they do? And then, right? And they go, oh, okay, cool. All right. I like the way you handled that, because you show them that you can handle it, because you've raised your level of awareness so much. And a lot of it, raising your level of awareness, is going within and doing the work. But when you get to that point of doing these exercises, these routines, you train your body and your brain and yourself to be aware. You begin to see into the future. I'll tell you a perfect story, okay? My fiance and I were at the gym. This was a while ago. We were at the gym. And my mentor, he actually owns the gym. He actually owns that gym. My mentor owns that gym. He's really so cool. Shout outs, Sir John. And he does, there's a Zumba class there, with a bunch of women. There's a big old room, and there's a boxing room in there, and then there's the weight room too. And I remember he comes up to me, and he's like, hey, Mike, man, what's going on, man? He's always all joyful, right? And he's like, hey, man, come on. The Zumba class is starting. Come on in there with me. Come on and dance with me. And me, I like to dance. I like to do new stuff. I'm like, I'm going to dance. Let's go. Right? That's right up my alley right there. For me, I was in, the boxing area, and I was getting wrapped up, ready to do my boxing training, but, that happened. Okay, so right in that moment, the thoughts were like, pew, 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 right? I seen into the future. I seen everything how it was all going to unfold. I seen, okay, my partner's here. She's in the weight room. I'm in the boxing gym area, and then there's a big old huge Zumba room that closes the doors right when it starts, with about 30 or 40 women in there. A few men in there, but mostly women, dancing, getting sweaty, having a good old time in there. Okay. Meanwhile, my partner's somewhere else. All of a sudden, I disappear into this room. She's looking for me. 30 minutes pass. She's, what the heck? Where are you? And all of a sudden, I pop out and laughing and sweating. I'm like, hey, with all these women over here, right? And, what the, hey, what, And we don't have trust issues. She would know. She would get it. She would understand. Like after a while. So, oh, I was worried about you. And I was like, no, I was in over here, and then we'd get through it. But still, I know that I'd be putting my partner in a situation. I know that, right, what that could do. And I seen that instantly. I seen, okay, well, if I do this, this is what's going to cause, and it's not going to be good. And so you get to that level in making decisions over and over and over again. Awareness of yourself and even how you speak to others and what they could interpret when you say that and how you say that and when and how you do that with other men or other women, and stopping those behaviors. Even changing the way that you speak to the waiter or waitress. Yeah, you see, you're aware of those things now. You see now, and you're making those adjustments on your own, and ooh, your spouse is going to be like, oh my gosh, you get it? You just get it. That's all I wanted, was for you to just get it and do it on your own and just have it done for me and make this easy for me, please. Just make this as easy as you can for me, please. Okay. And so that's going to do it for today. Rebuilding trust starts with you. When you change yourself at the core, your partner begins to feel safe again. And when it comes to change, remember, you want to get to that point where you change so much as to where it's beyond obvious and nothing will need to be proven, okay? And so consistency is key, right? But you'll get there, okay? I hope this video helped. Subscribe to the channel, like it, comment. Come on, show some love here if it helped, even if it's the slightest bit. If you took one thing away, I want to know what it was. Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what the one thing was that you took away, or if there's multiple things, or whatever it is. Okay, you have a question, drop it below. Thank you so much. Happy recovery. I'll see you in the next one.